3, 1, 2, right? So we had these changes of angle, and so you know the eye is fairly wide, right? But when we turn the head, the eye is not going to be wide. It's in perspective, so it's going to be narrow. So one thing you want to pay attention to is how much of the sclera I see. If the person, like in this case, Megan, is looking that way, forcing it, you see more of this. If not, the eye will tend to be, let's see, in full profile, the eye is going to be like this. Look. That. So this triangle is very, very small, right? In this case, though, she is looking 3/4. So I'm going to have this going up like this. I actually do it here. Up like this, right? Peaks, right? And then this part is short because it wraps around the eye. This is now up like this, down like this. Instead of being this long, is this short like that. And this is the iris, the sclera. And this is the iris. But problem is that now, because she is looking that way, we see more sclera than we would see normally. If she, like this, right? If she were looking straight instead of looking on the side, this would be here, right? Like that. And the sclera that we see is going to be very small. So what you want to do, pay attention to how much sclera you see. Look at this triangle. Think of a shark fin. And you say, do I see that is a big triangle or a small triangle or whatnot? Don't think sclera. Don't think part of the, think abstract shapes. And also think that this needs to wrap around something round, right? The way you think will change the way you draw. But we give you different results too, right? So here, now this, you start seeing this a little bit. And we could do a very nice subtle weaving of lines. This line could be very, just barely visible, or much more visible, depends, right? But you see how this gets in softer and softer, right? In fact, I want to show you drawings of Waterhouse and Cadmus. They were using lines, but in a different way, right? And maybe in a few minutes we'll take a break so we can look at the drawing, and so that we it will explain this a little bit better, right? So a little more clearly to see how the lines are applied, right? See, it's all darker. See that? I can have this very, very delicate weaving. So I'm not going to do the weaving. Look at drawing for centuries. Look at my finger. My finger is crooked. It got the groove in there. So anyway, and then a big callus here, right? So that's the way they, right? So, but the lines are not going to be, again, perpendicular. We're going to be weaving like this, right? Weaving like this, slightly change of angle, because it's easier to create a turning on the form from here, see that, to here, to here, and here. See how that creates a turn on the form like that, right? So think this. Think two things. Think that this, if I cut the head with a saw or something, I'm gonna have this, right? The line of section, right? Therefore, that helps me to understand how I want to organize these lines, because they give me the plane, but also want to see how they kind of go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And in some cases, you can see I keep them lighter or darker, depending on the form, right, and the light. Now this part here instead is going to be gets gradually darker. See this here, right? Now we're gonna go with the line like this, right? Following the margin, like this, right? To create the curve out here is very delicate bump. But this part needs to be darker, right? This part needs to be darker, see that? Because it turns. So practicing this, right? Trying to understand the planes is really useful for understanding why the values are the way they are where they are. So if you know that this turn, right, the light is from here, and this turn away from the light, that's going to be dark. So you expect to see certain values, certain spots. Always do that. Try to check what is the light, right, with the light. So where is the light coming from? How is the plane? And that will help you to better understand the tonal range and the distribution of the organization of the values, right? So this is now darker, and I turn it even more like this, right? Like for the previous work, we could push this quite a lot and get a nice solid form. They feel very three-dimensional, but also with a very good tonal range, right? So this probably I need to now to get a little bit more. Another thing is, especially for this technique, or for all techniques, right? But also for this technique, you need to have a sharp point. Because this line will become dull, this pencil will become dull very quickly, and the line will become thicker and irregular, and that will alter, will have a negative effect on the quality of drawing. So what I do when I draw, to mitigate that loss of the sharpness, I constantly turn the pencil a little bit, by like 5, 10 lines, except then I turn it a little bit. After a while, it becomes automatic, or you don't even think about that anymore, because that way, the pencil basically sharpens itself, right? Of course, after a while, you need to stop and sharpen it, but all tricks that help you to draw more accurately. And so this now is going to, I'm going to now unify this with this, right? Because see how dark, it's very dark here, right? It's very dark. So it is soft. So what I don't want to do, we already blocked in the structural aspect, dividing the hair from the neck. Every single thing is being defined with the line. But now I think in light, so the light here hides part of the chin and blends with the throat. So I'm going to create a unified value here for this, right? Even though the plane here will probably go flat like this, right? But I don't see it. So I'm going to now start introducing the light, right? And more accurately, as I expand the hatching. Here, now darker. Another thing you want to do is think, okay, like we did for the previous drawing, where is the highlight? And I squint, I see the highlight is probably here, probably the ear, right? It's probably here, right? So those I could leave white, right? In fact, I let them white. But then if I look at other areas that look very light, like this one here, this one here, this one here, they're not white. They're not white. So I need to put the value on top of them. Here, right? See that? So it helps you to make the decision, right? So initially you can leave those white because you have limited tonal range. But at a certain point you decide to push the value more and more, then you need to start making this decision and differentiate the value more accurately, right? So that there's no white here. So I block in a very, very fine value. And here now the philtrum, I want to create a fuzziness of the philtrum with line that kind of challenge the sharp margin that I had before here. This is now, the other part is very dark, so let's push it darker, right? Push it darker because we need to push it, move it back. So we're gonna go here. I want to reclaim a little bit the eyes like this, right? Because as I put a darker value, I'm afraid I'm gonna lose them. I don't know where they are, right? So now here the lips. So now this, I'm gonna go dark like this. Right? Slightly, this is the original direction. I'm gonna go down like this now, right? More, right? Really.